I stumbled across this article today that was talking about how ACOLYTE showrunner Leslye Headland is actually secretly based, or at least she used to be, according to a producer who claims to know her. And when I saw this, I was thinking, are you sure about that? Because I honestly can't see it. But then I started looking into it and reading in this article and thinking, like, okay, maybe there's some validity to it, but I might not be 100% convinced, but I still think it is kind of an interesting concept. So let's dive into this article from That Park Place. It kind of goes into the details about it. So, according to the headline, Bone Tomahawk producer claims the ACOLYTE showrunner Leslye Headland used to be based and would have a ish all over the ACOLYTE for its stupid gender motives and dumb physics. All right, jumping down into the article. Bone Tomahawk producer Dallas Sonnier recently claimed that the ACOLYTE showrunner used to be based and that she would have it all over the ACOLYTE for its stupid gender motives and dumb physics. In an Instagram story post earlier this month, Sonnier, who also produced Run, Hide, Fight and Terror on the Prairie, posted, "The ACOLYTE makes me sad on many levels. Star Wars is awesome, was awesome." And I do think it is kind of important to point out right here, Run, Hide, Fight, Terror on the Prairie, two of the movies that he also produced are movies that were released by the Daily Wire, which is a conservative media outlet for those of you watching who don't actually know that already. So you can kind of get an idea where his politics kind of leans in this way. And then you can look at what the ACOLYTE's doing and kind of get an idea that maybe Leslye Headland is probably opposed to what he thinks. But according to him, that wasn't always the case with her. He continued, "I discovered Leslye in a 15-seat theater on Santa Monica Boulevard back in 2007. Like Greta Gerwig, I locked arms with this woman and forced Hollywood to pay attention to her. Leslye was so freaking based back then. She would have it all over the ACOLYTE for its stupid gender motives and dumb physics like fire in outer space," he added. And this time frame back in 2007, that would have been around the same time frame that she was also working for Harvey Weinstein. So it's not like he's saying that he just found her in a theater and he's like, "Hey, I want to make you a assistant to a producer, or I want to make you a director," or something like that. So it stands the reason that maybe he would have already been familiar with her, because there's no records that they've actually worked together or anything like that. So I don't know where this connection is. He says that he knew her back then and he helped kind of propel her career, or he kind of stood by her. I don't know what that means because he hasn't produced any movies that she's been involved with, but there's a lot of people within the industry who know each other who haven't actually worked together professionally. So maybe this is one of those cases. I have heard some stuff that says that they actually went to school together because they both are the same age. I can't find anything to confirm that. I've actually found some information that kind of contradicts it, that says that they both went to different colleges, but still, I do think it's important to point that out. And it's not like this is the first time he has said that he has worked with Leslye Headland, because Dallas Sonnier did this interview for Spin. This is from 2021, so a few years ago. And that he also mentions working with Leslye Headland or knowing Leslye Headland. Where's that? Okay, yeah, in this interview, the interviewer asks him, "You've been a film producer for over a decade. When did you first start noticing a shift in regards to the kind of content that were being made? What was the impetus of leaving an industry town like Los Angeles?" Because he's gone and done more independent stuff. And this is what he had to say. "I was a manager in Hollywood for years. I was quintessential in the success of Greta Gerwig, a big part of the launching of Leslye Headland, of Jennifer Lumet. I was repping strong, independent, amazing, talented women before it was in vogue. I wasn't doing it to pat myself on the back or signal all my virtue. I was doing it because they deserved to be seen. Their work was literal art. It had nothing to do with politics or gender or any of this stuff." So, yeah, back in 2021, he says he knew her, and he's saying the same thing again. So I don't know if that's the case, but that's just what it's being reported right now. Sonnier then stated, "Last saw her in 2017 and she was still her old self, but her reboot of Heathers co-starring an even younger Brett Cooper," and Brett Cooper is also a contributor for the Daily Wire, just thought that would be relevant information at this point. Soon got canceled very publicly for all the wrong, dumb reasons, and it really shook her spirits. I saw her lean into modern victim mentality more with Russian Doll on Netflix, and really no turning back from there. So he's basically saying that Leslye Headland was more what he would refer to as based, and some of the earlier projects that she was working on weren't really well received. So he's thinking that because she was a queer woman, at least according to her, she's married to a woman. So I'm assuming that's the truth, that she started leaning more into this side of it and started identifying with the identity politics aspect of it, because it's easier to get by in Hollywood if you kind of lean into that versus if you're going to try to be an outsider. And for some people, they might say that as a queer woman, she couldn't be based or anything like that. But that's, I don't really buy that, because there's a lot of gay people out there who are more conservative leaning and other things like that. Even a lot of prominent contributors and commentators and other things like that for various conservative outlets. So I could believe that possibly that was the case. And since she didn't have much success earlier on in her directing career, that maybe she did lean into that aspect of herself in order to try to get by in the Hollywood entertainment industry. He then speculates she got woke in order to be accepted by Hollywood. Hey, look, we all get older. We all got to pay the bills and the world cracked. I get it. But it is just sad to see someone I managed for over 8 years and who cared so much about become the very thing she and I mocked mercilessly for a decade, Sonnier concluded. And yeah, here's a screenshot of the post that he made on Instagram. Headland made it clear she is indeed a proponent of woke ideology now, and claims she felt sad that people reject queer ideology. She told The Hollywood Reporter, "Honestly, I feel sad that people would think that if something were gay, that it would be bad." She then added that she was the one who was indeed sad because her show was being dismantled. It makes me feel sad that a bunch of people on the internet would somehow dismantle what I consider to be the most important piece of art that I've ever made. And that's in response to how people view the Acolyte, because right now I believe, it's at 13% on Rotten Tomatoes. There's people saying it's just being review bombed, but evidently she's not happy with the reception of it. I mean, if it was just review bombing, I don't think she would have the same reaction. I think it is genuine that a lot of people don't like the show, and that's just the way it is, because a lot of people are saying it's just putting politics ahead of anything else, and that's why they don't care for it. So I can see her being upset about that. If it is something that's near and dear to her and people don't like it, that could be rough. But at the same time, according to Dallas Sonnier, she's just doing this because it's helpful in the entertainment industry. And this isn't really a secret. It's pretty much known throughout Hollywood that if you're more right leaning, then you're going to have a tougher time to get by. This is from the LA Times. In liberal Hollywood, a conservative minority faces backlash in the age of Trump. This is from 2017, from this article from The Hill in 2020. Hooray for Hollywood, unless you're a conservative. And there are a lot of people who are more right-leaning within that industry who do have a tough time getting by. So I could definitely see a case where someone like Leslye Headland would try to lean into more of a liberal side, or try to embrace more storytelling that reflects that, because that's kind of what helps you get work these days. I'm not necessarily saying that's definitively the case, because like I said, I don't know the nature of Sonnier or Headland's relationship or anything like that, or how well he knew her, or how involved he was with her career earlier on. He says he managed her for 8 years. I haven't found anything to collaborate that, but I haven't actually found anything to refute it either. So maybe that's the case, and maybe she was different, but yeah, people grow up and change. So maybe she changed too by just being like kind of within that industry for so long. Or maybe she is just trying to play a part because she thinks it's more advantageous for her career. But let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Do you think she's just kind of masquerading as the woke bastion in her Star Wars stuff? Or do you think it's actually a genuine view that she holds? Comment below. And if you haven't already, make sure you click that subscribe button if you want to stay up to date with the latest entertainment news. And don't forget to like and share the video, because it really helps out with the channel. Thank you.